like to call to order the February 18th, 2025 Wilson County Commission meeting. Thank you to all of our guests for being here tonight. We encourage you to come back at any opportunity that you can be with us. I have got a phone up here that I'll be glad to give to somebody that left it up front. It's $100 for this phone. $100. If you can take that back to Mary Alice and get her $100 from me if you don't mind. We do have several guests in the audience, and before we start, I would recognize that we have a group from Leadership Wilson here tonight. If you would stand and be recognized at this time. Glad to have you as a part. Thank you. At this time, I'll recognize Commissioner Fields for the prayer and the pledge.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce my pastor, Pastor Chris Nolan of Victory Baptist Church there on Tate Lane in Mount Juliet. So if you don't have a church home, we'd love to have you come visit with us. Pastor Chris is basically a Bible scholar, and I'll turn it over to Pastor Chris for the prayer.
I ask you to rise at this time.
Amen. Let us pray. Father God, we just thank you for who you are. We recognize the fact that you are our creator, the maker of all things. You are our sustainer. Our lives is held in your very hands. And so, God, we thank you. We thank you for your wonderful grace and mercy that you have given to us. And Lord, we just recognize that you are our sovereign God. And Lord, it is in you that we put our trust. Father, we thank you for Wilson County. And we thank you for these commissioners. We thank you for these leaders. Father, we pray tonight that you would give them wisdom. God, that you would guide them in the work that they do. Lord, that every decision that is made would be done for your honor and for your glory. Most of all, Lord, we thank you for the wonderful gift of salvation that you have provided for us through Jesus. We thank you for the promise of your word that whoever calls upon your name shall be saved. And so it is in that tonight that we give you the glory and the praise and honor. And we thank you for all you've done. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Pastor. This time, if you will, press yes on your panel to record your presence at tonight's meeting. I would tell you at this time, Director Joey Cooper and Sheriff Brown will not be here. Both are out helping some of their family with medical issues, and so they'll not be here tonight. The report, of course, is in your packet. We'll approve those, and if you have any questions for them, you can ask them.
Brian on 25 present.
25 and all are present tonight. At this time, if you would like to speak on public comment, we'll have that time for you to come and speak about anything you'd like to hear at the commission. If you're here for the rezoning that's going to happen, you'll have a separate private public comment period later. Or if you're here to make a recommendation to the commission on the trustees vacancy, that's a separate public hearing as well. But anything else that you want to talk about at this time, if you'll step forward, state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to talk. Seeing no one, we'll close public comment period and we'll move on to the report of the steering committee. Commissioner Fields.
Mayor, the steering committee met in call session on Thursday, January 30th, 2025 at 6 p.m. There is a correction that needs to be made. The meeting was not held in the commission room. It was held in the conference room. So I make a motion that the minutes be received as amended.
Option of the
The
agenda.
steering committee met in regular session on Thursday, February the 6th in the upstairs conference room. Move that they be received and filed.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Adoption of the agenda. Commissioner Fields.
Everyone has a copy of the agenda without any changes or additions. I move that it be accepted and filed.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. There is no consent agenda to my knowledge. So we'll move on with special recognition. Commissioner Fields?
For you guests, believe it or not, I'm not going to hog the podium tonight. A resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Wilson County, Tennessee, honoring the Mount Juliet High School Marine Corps Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. Whereas the Mount Juliet High School Marine Corps Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, from now on called the JROTC, has been recognized as a Naval Honor Scholar School for the past 6 years in a row, placing them in the top 20% of all MCJROTC programs nationwide. And whereas their drill team competes at 5 meets annually and were undefeated for the past 3 years. And whereas the drill team has earned countless first-place recognitions in individual and platoon categories. And whereas the drill team has placed either first or second best overall drill team in each drill meet so far in this school year. And whereas the marksmanship team had an undefeated season this year, winning all local matches, placing in 2 regional matches, and placing in the top 15% of the services postal matches nationally. And whereas the marksmanship team has consistently placed in the top 20% or better nationally in the service postal match over the past 6 years. And whereas since 2013, the marksmanship team has had 6 students earn the $1,000 CMP Marksmanship Scholarship. Whereas, although not a military recruitment program, Mount Juliet High School Marine Corps JROTC has had 86 cadets join the United States Marine Corps since 1997. On average, roughly 25% of each graduating class results in an enlistment to any given branch of the military as a military officer or enlisted service member. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Wilson County, Tennessee, that we honor the Mount Juliet High School Marine Corps Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps for their accomplishments and dedication in their service. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented to Sergeant Major Jonathan Clark for display at Mount Juliet High School in recognition of the outstanding accomplishments of the Mount Juliet High School Marine Corps Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Also, I'd like to mention, you guys come on up to receive your reward. Sergeant Major Clark was recognized as Mount Juliet Teacher of the Year this year. So I think is Director Luttrell back there? Oh, I want you to keep that in mind, Director, please. And also, 2 of the cadets participated in the American Legion's oratorical contest. That is a constitutional contest. They have to know the Constitution. They have to know the Bill of Rights. They make a 8 to 10 minute speech about the Constitution, then go in a secluded room, called out one by one to speak extemporaneously on one of the 10 amendments. They do not know which one, so they are well versed in the U.S. Constitution. I wish we all were. So, Sergeant Major, would you introduce your group?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, sir. Before I introduce the students, I'd like to introduce our senior Marine instructor, Major Antilli, also a former Teacher of the Year as well. To my left, have our team captains, our drill team captains, our cadet Aaron Adams and Alexis Dennington, and our rifle team captain is Frankie Correa. To my right, Major Antilli has our cadet company staff, our top 4 senior leaders in the program.
Good evening. I'm Major Antilli. To my right, I have our Cadet Commanding Officer, Rachel Blumhart, our Cadet Executive Officer, Carson Way, Company First Sergeant John Courtney and Company Gunnery Sergeant Sabrina Larson.
Thank you. I think they all deserve another round of applause.
Thank you, Commissioner Fields, and congratulations. This time, we recognize Commissioner Wendell Marlowe.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have a resolution here that recognizes our Mount Juliet and Lebanon, Wilson County Rotary Club. So if those individuals are here tonight, I would invite you to come up here with me. Hey, man. All right. Hey. Either way, it doesn't matter. I was only expecting 4 people. Okay. Resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Wilson County, Tennessee, honoring the Lebanon and Mount Juliet Rotary Clubs for the commitment to the Read to Success program. Whereas Read to Success began several years ago when local teacher Audrey Glenn realized that reading proficiency was low and many students in her school did not have books of their own at home. And Ms. Glenn's persistence and dedication resulted in the Rotary Club's goal to foster a love of reading at a young age by donating 1 book per month, beginning in September through May to every first grader in Wilson County schools. And Lebanon and Mount Juliet Rotary Clubs in Wilson County have provided significant leadership in the area of community involvement in the education of our youth. Goals are grounded in the Rotary focus area of education and literacy, and this effort has resulted in over 100,000 books being donated to over 2,100 first graders since the program's inception in 2019. And this February, Wilson County Libraries are promoting library cards for students by providing an honorary library card in the book they have received this month. Parents may redeem the honorary card for a gift and also register their child for their very own library card. And Wilson County stands firmly committed to the promoting of reading as a catalyst of our students' future academic success, the preparation for America's jobs of the future, and their ability to compete in the global economy. As such, it is fitting to recognize the Lebanon and Mount Juliet Rotary Clubs for their commitment to the Read to Success program, and now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Wilson County, Tennessee, that we honor Lebanon and Mount Juliet Rotary Clubs for their commitment to the Read to Success program by ensuring every first grade student receives 1 book per month in an effort to foster a lifelong love for reading. Motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Okay, would anybody like to express?
Rob Porter.
No, I don't know about him. I don't know about
They're
you.
designated speakers.
We want to appreciate everyone letting us come tonight. We started, this is Rotary Club's motto is service above self. 5, 6 years ago now, I got a call from a first grade teacher at West Elementary telling me about some questionable reading scores and what we could do to help. And your county Rotary Clubs banded together, and over 6 years we have delivered 100,000 books to every first grader in this county. And we would love for Director Luttrell and Superintendent Brian Hutto to come up to the mic with us for just a second. We've got, while they're coming up, we have held out, and Mayor Hutto, you're in this too, by the way. Mayor Hutto's a Rotarian. He understands the program, what we've had to do, but with Audrey's help and persistence, we have blossomed this program into what it is today. And we've got every first grader, almost 2,100 kids every month gets a free book they take home with them. The teachers are so excited when we bring the books into the lobbies to hand out. We used to go into the classroom and hand them out individually. We used to read to them. COVID kind of put the kibosh on that, so we're going in and handing out the books as we can. But with this, we have tonight one of these three is the 100,000th book we're delivering, and I want to hand one to Mr. Luttrell, Mr. Hutto, and Mayor Hutto for letting us come tonight. And we want to thank everybody, and please, if you know a first grader, talk to them about the books because they're very excited about them. Audrey can tell you when she was teaching first grade, she had to contain the kids while she was handing out the books. So many of the teachers tell the stories of all the different right then, or they won't get anything done the rest of the day. So it's been a great program, great experience for the Rotarians. I'm sure they all can tell you different stories, but we appreciate everybody that's had a part in this. Thank you all. Thank you.
I don't know who gets them.
Well, I will make sure we get to the presidents as they need them. Thank you very much.
We are blessed to have great Rotary clubs in the county that bridge the gap in so many different areas, from glasses to books, and definitely something that was very important on the reading issue that we know that is so important to our kids. So thank you, Rob, and all of you for what you do to make it happen month after month from September to August. At this time, we will move forward with a public hearing on a rezoning. Christopher, if you're in the office, if you're in the area, I'll ask you to come forward. This time, we will hold a public hearing prior to considering an amendment to the R1 Plan Unit Development Master Plan. I need to go out of session for that to happen. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Christopher, if you'll read that, and then we'll have people come to talk.
A public hearing will be held before the Wilson County Commission on Tuesday, February 18th, 2025 at 7 p.m. or thereafter in the County Commission Room of the Wilson County Courthouse located at 228 East Main Street, Lebanon, Tennessee, to hear comments on the following. The first case, if you're here for Central Pike, that has been withdrawn by the applicant, so that will no longer be heard tonight. The next case that will be heard is an application by B&R Lebanon Investments to amend the R1 Planned Unit Development Master Plan for the Cumberland Oaks subdivision located at 124 Chalford Place. The purpose of the request is to amend building separation and lot sizes. The property contains 406.81 acres, being referenced as Wilson County Tax Map 14, parcels 5.04, 7, and 8. And Wilson County Tax Map 26, parcel 3.03. A copy of this request has been on file at the Wilson County Planning Commission and is available to see during regular business hours.
Anyone here wishing to speak on the property that's in question? I have Mr. Tim Landstrom as the first one. If you'll come forward, please. State your name and address again for the record. And you have 3 minutes, sir. Yes, sir.
My name is Tim Landstrom, and I live at 106 Chalford Place, adjacent to the meadow that is the southwest portion of B&R's property. When my wife and I purchased our home, we did so because of the untouched beauty to the south and east of our neighborhood, the open fields and the mature trees. I'm here this evening to ask you that you help preserve this mostly untouched natural setting. Specifically, I ask that you approve B&R Development's requested reduced lot sizes to accommodate placing the full allotment of its developed space east of the watershed ridge, which will also place those developed lots outside of the Chalford neighborhood sightlines. As a neighbor, I was privileged to participate in development meetings B&R open to the public, grateful to be included in their process, ultimately finding that my voice had been heard and my concerns taken into consideration as their plans were drawn. I couldn't have asked for anything more, as B&R's plans, as drawn, ultimately left their adjoining land mostly untouched, though those plans have yet to receive your full approval and blessing, the reason for which I stand before you tonight. I'm now grateful for this forum to come before you to ask that the Commission consider a number of concerns as the consequences associated with the development of land spanning west of the watershed ridge, which would be brought about if requested lot size exceptions are not approved. The culling of mature trees, permanently defacing the landscape, changing the horizon. Increased noise pollution. How much do these mature trees buffer our neighborhood from the already noisy TVA Gallatin plant? The increased blast zone and the encroachment of that blasting upon already existing homes in multiple surrounding neighborhoods. What amounts to effectively strip mining the natural landscape, leaving behind bared mud and massive rock piles, for which I offer developments along Coles Ferry Road in Lebanon and Binders Ferry Road in Mount Juliet as examples. The increased light pollution associated with dozens of homes. Currently, we have little to no street lighting in our neighborhoods, and our night sky is phenomenal. Limiting housing development to east of the ridge would greatly limit lighting impacts. My wife and I are looking forward to benefiting from B&R's development as proposed, a walkable community with green spaces and parks and paths. Our neighborhood stands to benefit from this feature, as it's quite unsafe to ride a bike, run, or walk the roads in and around our home. Apart from Commission approval, we've been told those green spaces would be removed from the development, that benefit and other amenities associated with their intentionally distinctive community completely gone. For all these reasons, I ask that you please approve B&R's modified plan as presented this evening. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on this property? Please just step forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, thank you. My name's Tom DeWanger. My wife and I are here. We live at 3019 Lillard Place. We come to this meeting just having found out 3 weeks ago when we were at the site and were shown the plan, the original master plan and then the unintended consequences plan. I don't have a written statement tonight, but I can tell you that after I was shown the two plans, my wife and I come to understand that sometimes the regulations cause a plan to go south, and that's what we see in the unintended consequences plan. The original plan is what my wife and I support very much. We support it wholly, completely, and totally, and emphatically that it be the original plan. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Good evening. My name is Mike Kanak, and I live at 115 Chalford Place, and I've lived there for 20 years, longer than any other resident in Chalford Hill. I, too, endorse the new proposal for Cumberland Oaks, and I'll tell you why. This plan leaves my lifestyle within the cul-de-sac almost completely untouched. In fact, if I can get home on 109, which I know is a dubious proposition at best, my life won't change. I'll still have the deer. I'll still have my blue jays that I feed. I'll still have the same green space out my front door and out my back door. With the plan that the Commission originally approved, my lifestyle changes dramatically. The traffic pattern down the cul-de-sac and everything, which won't be a cul-de-sac, changes negatively. That being said, I want you to consider not just the unintended consequences of the original, of the plan passed by the commission, but I want you to consider the unintentional benefits of the new proposal. If we have the original plan, we have 450 people that have to come in the same demographic, buying the same kind of house in a cookie-cutter development that's going to take a while to sell. If the new plan is proposed, we have a variety of demographics, both in terms of economic and age, wonderful green spaces. The development will be much faster. Your property tax revenue will be collected much faster because the development will be finished faster, and the necessary infrastructures that invariably will have to be done will be more quickly paid for. And from a commission standpoint, you'll have less complaints over a shorter period of time. So for all y'all, it's better to do the new proposal, not just for us, but for all you guys too. That's all I really have to say, is that we saw all the things, the different proposals. We didn't want any development, but that's unrealistic. So as I told my my commissioner, I'd rather have be inconvenienced by a beautiful plan than inconvenienced by an ugly plan.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Anyone else wishing to speak on this property? Please step forward.
My name is Barry Boston. I live at 113 Chalford Place. I don't have anything extra to say. They've pretty well said everything that I feel. I like the way things are. I like what they're wanting to do to begin with. And that's just what I want to say. I just think that would be much more beneficial to us, having the greenways and the green property, instead of, like Mike said, making it into a cookie-cutter development. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm J.W. Johnson, live at 110 Shelford. The first proposal that provides the green space and the trails would absolutely benefit us physically to stay in shape. It's 24 miles round trip from my house to the park here in Lebanon. That's the only place we have to walk and ride our bike in a safe manner. The other concern that I have, and maybe it has been addressed previously, if so, I apologize, and that would be the water issue. And that is that our pressure at times are so low, if you're washing dishes, you can't take a shower. Or if you're washing clothes, you can't use the toilet. But adding 400 and something homes, I hope that that issue has already been addressed at some point. Again, if it has, I apologize. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Shelby Blackstock, and I'm the owner of 124 Chalford Price with my business partner, Austin Reck, and we're the owners of B&R Developments and Lebanon Investments. We own that parcel, but the parcel didn't start that way. My parents bought that parcel in the early 90s, long time ago, when it was just a thicket and hunting land. And over the course of that time, we've been able to change that property and grow it and have some of the most cherished family memories out there possible. And in that time, and in those 30 years, the surrounding area grew as well. 109 was widened, the Chalford Place area was built, and I watched the rest of the developments in the whole area be basically developed into what they are today. And basically what I'm trying here to say is this is my home. This is not a normal development for us. I wanted to come in and do something very, very special. So when this project came about, Austin and I went and hired the best professionals we possibly knew, and we went about it a little bit differently. We started with talking to the neighbors, talked to the Planning Commission and the County Commission, and the biggest thing that came out of this is if this property was to be developed, what do you guys want to see out there? The biggest things were protecting the green space is the biggest thing. A lot of the neighbors like the idea of it being open on our trail system and having access to the property that's literally been in their backyard for 30 years with a closed door. Another one was keeping the pressure off the neighbors, and final was keeping the Spencer Creek watershed and the pressure off that. Our team took that information and created the master plan ahead of you, and it's one of the first master plan that literally checks off every single one of those boxes. And during the meeting in late November, we came in and we were able to get approved for 435 lots, and 3 of the 5 variances were approved. The 2 variances that were not approved were the side setbacks in between the homes, and the minimum lot size was set at 20,000 square feet. The only issue for that is that changes the entire plan. With the larger lot size, since our density is set, that kind of takes everything away. It takes away the open space, takes away the walking trails, because everybody's backyard is going to be someone's private property. It heavily encroaches into the Spencer Creek watershed and puts pressure back on the neighbors, everything we've been trying to work on for the past 2.5 years. So I'm here to ask you guys to help me advocate for protecting the green space, try to make some place special. This plan is not just a plan. It's been meticulously designed to highlight the specific magical points of the property. So it's really taken a lot of time and a lot of effort to get to where we are to make this place truly special. So I'm asking you guys, vote to help protect the green space, and as well, let's try to make something special for the area. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. My name's Brian Wright. I am the planner who worked on this master plan with the team, and so tonight I just wanted to kind of share a little bit of the highlights. It's probably not normal for you to have people coming and speaking in favor of projects very often. That's not the case in most places. We get to work all over the country, but for us, I got to drive here tonight, so this is nice for it to be a regional project for us. As Shelby said, we really set out to do something different than a normal conventional standard subdivision. We know you guys get lots of those. There's lots of growth pressure here, and so what we set out to do was really create a true neighborhood. We wanted it to, be organized around open spaces and natural preserved areas. The idea would be to have a multi-generational community where, as you age in place in the community, different stages of life. There's houses of different lot sizes. We have lots as big as 5 acres or more, and at some point maybe you don't want something that big, and so you want to downsize. Well, why have to leave the neighborhood? Why not stay in the neighborhood that you love and have all these great trails and all that stuff? And so by having a multitude of lot sizes, that allows us to have that multi-generational effect that people have been talking about. The plan was created after many, many meetings with staff, with public officials, and we had a week-long public design process. We actually set up our office down in the square, brought our team there, and people could come in from like 9 in the morning until 9 at night. And we had meetings with different topics. They could drop in at their convenience in case they had to work or whatever. So a lot of public input went into it, which is also quite unusual for most development projects. Is normally in the cover of darkness. So the principles, the fundamental principles that we are operating under is to create a first of its kind community in the county, to create an agri-hood where we have actually productive working agriculture as part of the neighborhood, in addition to preserved the most beloved sites. Those patches of trees up there, we know that's where the herd of deer live, in those different patches, and so we didn't want to get rid of those, and so let's cluster more sensitively towards the river to stay in our watershed and not have to have any potential impact on neighbors. We have this wildlife-friendly design when the wildlife corridor is preserved, sustainable stormwater techniques put into practice here, having dark sky lighting standards where we don't have light pollution, so all of our light fixtures shoot light down instead of up into the sky, and our extensive open space network. It's like 240 41 of the acres are in preserved open space in perpetuity, not that we will develop later or whatever. They're put into conservation and preservation. Our community amenities, we have all kinds of parks and playgrounds, pavilions. We've got the agriculture that I mentioned, which is an amenity because the neighbors and people in the area can come by and benefit from that. Having community gardens as well, running and walking trails, a public river walk. Most projects on the river privatize the river, so only the people who are rich enough to have a lot there get to have the view of it. Well, we actually have pulled the lots back and have a trail and even a road in a lot of cases between the houses and the river.
Your time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Next.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name's Sam Chrisman, and I am the civil engineer at Reagan Smith, providing engineering support for the developer and the land planning team. As mentioned previously by my colleagues and the public, the reduction in open space is going to cause an increase in grading, drainage, disturbed area, and a reduction in usable area. Not approving the two variances in question will increase the limits of construction required to develop the site. The increase in developable area will cause a disturbance to neighboring properties during construction phase that could be avoided with the proposed plan. The proposed plan maintains the existing buffer with the natural topography and tree line. We had a meeting with the neighbors at Chalford Place, and they were in favor of retaining this existing buffer between them and the proposed development. When speaking with Commissioner McFarland, his main concern was the downstream watersheds. The proposed plan limits the amount of runoff coming from the developed area to neighboring watersheds. This is a key design principle in the future for engineering, reducing the amount of runoff going to the neighboring areas. This development has been laid out in a way that that runoff is predominantly going towards the Cumberland River. The disapproval of these two variances will also limit the amount of open space. There are proposed areas that could potentially become a clubhouse, gazebo, pavilion, gathering area, playground, sport fields and courts, community garden, pocket parks, and walking trails. The plan also provides a large amount of retained tree canopy. Larger lots will decrease this area and will not allow public use of this incredible property. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jessica Wilson with Town Planning and Urban Design Collaborative, and we are the planners on the project. You go to the next slide. So in order to accomplish the vision that we presented to you and that we presented to the neighbors, the owners chose to do a PUD. They chose to put additional design standards on their development to ensure that what gets implemented is what is being shown. The PUD in the zoning has four purposes: to promote flexibility of design, to promote efficient use of land, to promote the preservation of open space, and the planning of land consistent with long-range plans. The PUD that was approved in November and the plan that is shown here meets all the purposes of the PUD. However, without the variances that we are here asking tonight for building separation and lot size, we cannot meet the purpose of the PUD for efficient use of land and preservation of open space. We have heard some concerns about setting precedent, but that isn't a concern with PUDs. Planning Commissioner Sheriff Terry Ash made a really good point in our Planning Commission meeting last month that PUDs are considered one at a time, and each one stands on its own merit. The rest of the Planning Commission did agree with him, and they approved our request unanimously. Precedent is not relevant when it comes to PUDs. Approving these variances tonight does not mean that they need to be approved for another project. This property is unique also in that it is on the river and it also splits a watershed. The plan and variances that are approved for this property will only apply for this property.
Good evening, Commissioner Caleb Thorne. Appreciate you. As y'all recall, in November, we were before you and you approved 435 lots for this property. You also approved 4 of the 6 variances, which we're very thankful for. As you've heard from all the neighbors and our team tonight, positive reasons why people support our previous plan before you. However, what we did from November to today is we listened to y'all's conversations. We heard your concerns about 10-foot separation on the building, so we removed that from the variance. And we're only asking for 20-foot separation on a certain amount of lots. We also heard your concerns about the lot size minimums we're asked for may be a little small. So we took those comments and went about it in a twofold approach. We said, how can we maintain the aspects that we heard building up to this plan, as well as how can we go about creating an average lot size of 12,500 square feet, which was half of the previous base zoning of R1. With that is the revisions that you see before you on those lot size reductions. We've increased every one of the villages by a certain amount. We've even removed one of them because it's above the 20,000 square feet. And from that is the variance that you see. You heard a couple of statements about unintended consequences. And to clarify what that is, the exhibit that you see before you and that's on your desk is a developable area that would occur if we went forward with the 20,000 square foot lots that was occurred whenever the variance did not get approved in November. As you see, and that's my terminology, unintended consequences. It may not be yours, that's mine. It removed the open space that we strive for. It removed the capability to minimize the drainage into the Spencer Creek watershed developable area. It removed the buffering of the neighbors. And additionally, what it does not show and what you may not realize, it removed the intent of the development. The age-in-place community within a community that we're trying to create for a destination location that people desire to be at all walks of their life. In their first home, in their climax of a home, and even as they downsize into their later home ownership. People want to live in certain communities all the time. They never want to leave them. We want to create a community where people can stay at versus having one demographic of what may have been the unintended consequences that we spoke of. Thank you, and hopefully we'll see your approval tonight.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one, we'll close public comment period. We'll go back into session to hear a motion. Second. All in favor say aye. Mr. Christopher.
Wilson County Commission members, the following application will be presented to the full commission on Tuesday, February 18th, 2025 for final recommendations. The application again is by BNR Lebanon Investments to amend the R1 Plan Unit Development Master Plan for the Cumberland Oaks subdivision located at 124 Chalford Place. The purpose of this request is to amend the building separation and lot sizes. The property contains 406.81 acres and was originally approved for 435 units. There are two requests before you. They will need to be voted on separately. The first request is to allow 20 foot of building separation in the neighborhood center district, which affects 79 lots, 20 foot of building separation for 50 foot wide lots in their neighborhood general district, which affects 96 lots, and 20 foot of building separation in their waterfront district, which affects 10 lots. And this is a total lot effect of 185 lots. Amendment number 2 is
if we can, let's vote on the first one. If we can, while you got it, it's clear on everybody's mind. Commissioner McFarland, I'll go to you on the first one.
Mr. Chairman, I want to speak to you and my fellow commissioners concerning this project. About 3 or 4 months ago, we voted on going from 40,000 square feet to 80,000 square feet, 2 acres roughly, to try to maintain green space, keep space out of rooftops and asphalt. And I think that was not good, and I'm sorry we did it. And I voted for it, and I'm sorry we did it. I think this PUD, and there's a lot of PUDs around the county, little PUDs, is a model that we need to look at because, yes, you're going to have some rooftops and asphalt, but you're going to have a lot of green space. And if we're going to preserve green space for hiking trails, bike trails, gardens, whatever is going to be there, this is the way I think we need to go, even in the future, if somebody comes in and has 800 or 1,000 acres to develop, if we can go with this model. And it's in my district, and I support it fully, and I'm going to make the motion on both of these when they come up. I want to kind of add to that this really is the way of the future. I really believe that. And if we can I asked my fellow commissioners to vote for it. I think it's what we need to do, and with that said, we had one meeting down there a week ago Saturday with all the neighbors, and it was very positive, and the only problem anybody brought up was traffic, and we all know that we can't do anything about the traffic. If you put 6 subdivisions around, you're going to have more traffic. So I intend to be the person to make the motion on both of you, so.
So you make the first motion on the 20-foot setbacks, is that what I'm understanding?
So move.
There's a second.
Second.
Now discussion. No. Any other comments? Commissioner Hall?
You can go ahead.
Sorry.
Was this positive from the planning?
This amendment does come with a positive recommendation from the Planning Commission that was voted on January 21st, 2025. Just also between the Planning Commission meeting and the County Commission meeting, there were 5 emails sent to me. I'm not going to mention names or anything. I will mention the addresses if they're located. There were 2 in objection to the development. They did not leave addresses. There were 3 for, and that is 108 Chalford Place, 120 Chalford Place, and 123 Chalford Place for letters of support. The 2 that were in opposition did not leave known addresses.
Commissioner Hall?
Thank you. I just got a couple of questions. On the original plan, where they had their original variances that they requested.
Yes, sir.
What was the open space that would have allowed at that time?
They're still maintaining the 59%.
So this maintains the same amount of open space as the original
I believe,
plan?
yes, sir. They've just.
Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
They've just made some lots narrower that were wider to accommodate that.
Okay. And then my second question had a gentleman that brought up an issue with water pressure. Is that the Lagardo Utility District out there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They'll be serving, and I believe there's a water tower on that property currently.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Denton?
Yes, I like the plan. Nothing wrong at all with it. I think it's wonderfully laid out. I like that. But the question I had before, I still have, is Coles Ferry and 109 still the only 2 access routes to this project? Is there...
This project accesses directly off of Bates, which then hits Bradshaw, and Bates actually hits 109 itself. Yeah, Northwest Williams Road, Bates, and Bradshaw are the 3 main access points to that. Now, those will get to Coles Ferry, but you can get to 109 directly from Bates and Northwest Williams. So, I mean, I guess in your question, there's 2 accesses to 109. You'd have the Coles Ferry Academy intersection and then the Bates Road where it hits on the north side of the development.
Well, my concern was that both of those are pretty much overcrowded roads and difficult roads to, what one of the gentlemen had said that if he got home, he would be safe, but he might not get home. If he gets home, he may not get out on 109. So my concern, has that been addressed? Is there any?
As far as the connections to 109, no. They will be required to increase the right-of-way width on Bates where they're accessing off of just south of Chalford. There'll be a center turn lane and a decel lane required there. They're going to have to do road improvements at the intersection, or not the intersection, of where they're connecting to Estes Road on the backside of the development. And then the developer, as long as the right-of-way is there, they have committed to improving the intersection where Bradshaw hits Academy. That is if the right-of-way is present there. But as far as the 109 intersections, no.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions before we vote? On the setbacks, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And I got how many noes? 1?
2.
1 no, okay. It passes. Go with the second.
No.
Excuse me?
Who was the no?
That'd be Mr. Go ahead.
187 of the lots, and this amendment does come to you with a positive recommendation from the Planning Commission.
So I got a motion and a second. Now discussion on the 12,000 square foot per lot. Any comments? Any questions? Anybody? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No, even though I don't live in the 5th district.
We wouldn't allow you there.
Thank you. Is that it?
That's all I have, yes, sir.
Bless you. Move forward now with a report from the Minutes Committee. Commissioner Fields.
Yes, the minutes committee met on Thursday, February 6th. Upstairs conference room. A copy of those minutes are in your packet. I move they be received and filed.
Got a motion, second discussion. Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Reading of the minutes. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Communication from the chair tonight. I would recognize that Mr. Eric Brumfield had some sickness in his family from the Gladeville Utility District. He was supposed to be here to report out to you today on the ARP funds. He did send a copy of that digest that I put on your desk. If you have any questions for that, please holler at me and we'll get him back here next month if you need to. If I don't hear from you, I won't bring him back next month for any discussion if that paper serves its purpose. This time, too, before we go to elections of the notaries or anything, I would like to recognize Mr. Jim Major, which is with us tonight. Today was Mr. Major's last day as a Wilson County trustee. His father, John Major, served the county trustee from 1973 to 1986. Mr. Jim Major was elected in 2006 as our trustee. Prior to that, he worked for the Wilson County Road Commission and served as a county commissioner in 2002. Mr. Jim has served just shy of 20 years and 5 terms as the trustee. Jim and his staff have made several accomplishments during his tenure here. Mr. Jim, we appreciate your service. We thank you for what you've done for the citizens of Wilson County and managing their money, and we'd like to recognize you at this time and give you an applause. Mr. Jim, we thank you for being in attendance tonight, and we wish you well in your retirement. This time, we have notary list. Any notaries should be added to the list?
They're out there.
There a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. I do now give you the opportunity, if you would like to appoint a successor for the trustee, I would need a motion to do so. If you're ready to do it this month. If not, we can put it off. You have 120 days to do that. Do I hear a motion to do that tonight? Do I hear a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Let the record reflect it was unanimous. Let me just describe what's fixing to happen. We're going to go out of session and allow the public to make any comments they would like to on recommendations for this trustee position. Regardless of how many people they name, that is just for your hear. That's just for you to hear. That we will not vote, or those people will not be able to talk to you. Once we close public comment, then we'll open the floor for the commissioners. The commissioners then will recommend or nominate whoever you want to do that with. Once those nominations, those are the ones that we'll ask to speak before the commission. We'll give 3 to 5 minutes for whoever's nominated to give you some type of address, and then at that time we will vote after that. But just for the public's knowledge, that you may mention Johnny or Susie or whoever.
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. And now we're out of session. Anybody in the back audience that would like to submit a name or a positive recommendation of somebody to this commission, at this time we'd ask you to step forward, state your name and address for the record, please. Anybody in public comment? Seeing none, we'll close public comment period and go back into session. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. This time I'll open the floor for nominations. Commissioner Chandler?
Mayor, I'd like to nominate Mr. Kenneth Hackett.
Mr. Kenneth Hackett? Commissioner Breeze?
I'd like to nominate Chief Deputy Trustee Tracy Galerno.
Ms. Tracy. Any other nominations? Commissioner Smith?
Move that the nomination cease.
Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, this time I would ask Ms. Tracy if she would like to come forward, if she is with us to speak. You're welcome to come up to the front if you'd like to, Ms. Tracy, or you can speak from back there, whichever one you want to do.
Okay. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for everything you do. I really appreciate it. I'm Tracy Galerno. Hopefully you all know that by now. I'm the Chief Deputy Trustee for Wilson County, and I've taken that job very seriously, and I've tried to run a tight ship because we have a lot of money that needs to be accounted for to the penny. And I've done that for 10 years. I've been a good steward of the money for Wilson County, and I would like to continue to be that good steward and make those good decisions on a moment's notice based on my experience. I'm able to make really good decisions. I've enjoyed my time working with other of my peers and other departments who are such good employees and hard workers of this county. And I would like to continue the work with them. We meet new challenges with the growth, the just exponential growth of our county. Every day we're finding new ways to do new things to make sure we get all the money. So I would really appreciate your vote. And that's really all I have to say at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy. At this time, Mr. Hackett.
Thank you, Mayor Hutto. Thank you, Commissioners, for giving me a minute to express my interest in this position. I also want to personally thank Mr. Major for his 19 years of service. About 4 weeks ago, when Mr. Major announced his resignation, or since then, I've been talking to a lot of people, listening to a lot of people, and one word that's come up on several occasions is qualifications. In Tennessee, the qualifications for a trustee are clearly defined, and I can confidently affirm that I meet all of them. Beyond meeting the basic requirements, I believe this role demands strong leadership skills. For 19 years, I had the privilege of supervising and leading men and women from their 20s to their 50s in a wide range of situations. My leadership style is collaborative. I value input from those I work with because I believe that when people are heard and their ideas are respected, morale improves and a stronger, more effective team is built. I recently came across a quote that resonated with me. A good leader gets players to play for the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back. That's the kind of leadership I strive to bring to this office. One of the practices that I greatly respect from Mr. Major's tenure is the bidding out of interest rates on taxpayers' money, a practice I fully intend to continue if selected. I will work with CTAS to ensure the best practices are followed and will work hand in hand with our staff. If you entrust me with this position, I give you my word that I will serve the citizens of this county with integrity, dedication, and a commitment to making you all proud. In closing, although I retired from a job that allowed me to serve the citizens of this county and this state, the desire to serve remains. If you vote for me, I will do everything in my power to make you proud of your vote. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your service to this county, and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hackett. This time now, if Mr. Marlowe would come forward and would pass out the ballots, we would ask you to vote for one person for trustee. It takes a simple majority of 13 people to assign this position. Ask you to put your name on the ballot as well as the district that you represent. You will either vote for Ms. Tracy or you'll vote for Mr. Kenneth. Please put your name on there and your district, please, as well. Once you finish those, if you'll just pass them to the inside, Ms. Dowdy will come pick them up. this procedure is over, I would ask for the candidate, if they would, to come forward, and we will administer the oath of office. So you're ready to take office tomorrow morning. Are all ballots in?
Hackett. 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 Grayson. Hackett. 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 Grayson. Grayson. Hackett. 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 Tracy. Hackett. 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 Tracy.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy, for your interest and your service in this job. Congratulations to you, Mr. Hackett, and if you will come forward this time, we will administer the oath of office. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kenneth Hackett,
I, Kenneth Hackett,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will perform
that I will perform
with fidelity
with fidelity
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
to which I have been appointed
to which I have been appointed,
and which I'm about to assume.
which I'm about to assume.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
to support the constitutions
to support the constitutions
of Tennessee
of Tennessee
and the United States,
and the United States,
and to faithfully perform
and to faithfully perform
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of trustee for Wilson County, Tennessee.
of trustee for Wilson County, Tennessee.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Let you sign here. Thank you. Congratulations. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you all for that. We'll now move forward with the report from the Emergency Management Committee. Commissioner Bernard. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Well, it's called mental health.
All All in favor, say aye. Aye. Report from Emergency Management Director's report. Director Cooper, as I told you, was out on a medical issue today, and so he will not be here. Report from the Law Enforcement Committee, Commissioner Kurtz.
No report.
Sheriff Bryan is also out with a medical issue today, and so, but he said his report was in the packet, and that you could call him if you had any questions. Report.
A motion to adopt both of those reports since they are in the packet.
Oh, my bad. Motion to approve Director Cooper's report.
Motion to move.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you for that. Report from Sheriff Bryan's in the packet. Hear a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Sorry for that. Report from the Education Committee, Commissioner Marlowe.
Education Committee met February 6th. No sheriff's office approved. Minutes are in your packet. I move they be received and filed. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Director of Schools report, Mr. Jeff Luttrell. I'm just trying to get you out of here before the snow. What it's worth.
Thank you, Mayor. You do have a copy of the report in front of you. Wilson County Board of Education did meet regular session January 23rd and February 3rd of 2025. Copies of those agendas are attached. Enrollment update, we're still 20,671 students. That's up 269 from the end of the school year. Feel like that'll probably hit about 300 by the end of school. That is lower than we've been in the last 4 years, but still it's going to be around 1 to 1.5% in growth. Personnel update, Brandy Comer has been selected as new principal for Lakeview Elementary. Ms. Comer is currently the assistant principal at Lakeview and will be replacing Dr. Tiffany Brown, who's accepted the position of principal at Lagardo Elementary. Per pupil expenditures, 23-24, encourage you to look at that. If you remember, 23-24 school year, we went to a new funding formula by the state called TISA. They've just released their per pupil expenditure indicator. I think that's something that we as a county need to start paying attention to. It's the amount of spending per pupil by the district for the entire fiscal year of 23-24, and is calculated by dividing the number of students enrolled by the total expenditures. To highlight that, the district wide per pupil expenditure per child is $10,241.69. Statewide average of per pupil expenditures $12,688.68 per child. Your local percentage of those expenditures of what you fund is 48.2%. State percentage is 45.4%. And federal percentage of that expenditure is 6.4%. That was for 23-24. We do not have the numbers for 24-25. That's something important to watch as this progresses and TISA progresses. It is based upon our ability to pay as a county, but I do want to highlight that and thank you. That does not include our building capital project money. That is just for your budget, your general budget, and what it takes to educate our kids on an annual basis. So I would encourage you to, I just want to give you that information so we can start monitoring that to see what is being required locally to educate our students. Also have the school letter grades, reward schools, and some admin recognitions. We had several of our schools were letter grades A for 23-24, and several were reward schools. One is federal accountability and one is statewide accountability. We'll notice if you'll just look at those just to highlight, not going to call them out. A lot of them, I know that we've got this information out, but the good thing is, I think, is when we look at this, we have schools at Mount Jude Elementary, Glaveville Elementary, Southside, a K-8 school, Tucker's Crossroad, a K-8 school, Rutland Elementary, one of the largest elementary schools in the state, 20-some different languages spoke in it. So just a wide variety of success within our schools. And so that's a testament to everybody involved, our school board, our teachers, our administrators, and to you, this funding body. What we're doing works. And so want to highlight that. Also, for reward schools, Rutland Elementary, for the 5th consecutive year, it was chosen as a reward school, earned a reward school status. That is extremely hard to do. I mean, it gets down to where there's a ceiling in academic growth, subgroup growth, all the things. And for them to be a reward school 5 years in a row is a tremendous accomplishment. And if you ever get the chance, and I encourage you to schedule a time or drop in and visit your schools, but when you go to Rutland, you're going to feel it. And a lot of our schools, I know you get a lot of the complaints about schools. Go check out these schools. I think you'll be impressed, the feeling that you get and the pride that you get of what goes on in these schools every day. But really proud of those leaders in those schools. And don't forget, it's our teachers. None of this is possible without those teachers in that classroom. And I'm pretty proud of our staff, too, at ATC. This don't just happen. You just don't come up with a plan and roll it out. There's a lot of planning that goes on, and intentional planning on curriculum and on how to drive instruction, assessment to get these. I will tell you, I don't always share my goals. Wilson County needs a blue ribbon school. And I think we've got 2 or 3 that we're going to be trying to promote and see if we can earn that. If you're not familiar with Blue Ribbon, that's a national recognition. And I can tell you there's a couple on this list that we're watching on an annual basis to see how quick they can. I've kind of got some competition between some principals of how quick they can get there. And I kind of stoke that fire every chance I get, because this county deserves a Blue Ribbon school. And we've got several on there. But again, I love the variety. We can do it in there's a lot of arguments in education. What's the best model, especially in growing districts? Is the K-5? Is it 6-8? Is it K-8? I'm telling you, you can do it regardless if you got the right people driving the train. And we have proven that. If you look at this, we've got small schools, we've got large schools, we've got K-8 schools, and so just proud of that. If you see these leaders and teachers, that's what you're getting in return on your money, and I wanted to point that out. Wilson County Principal of the Year, very fittingly, is Shauna Davis, Rutland Elementary, and she'll be moving on to represent Wilson County statewide, and she's very, very deserving. It's amazing. There's so many kids at Rutland. I don't know if you've ever been there at the heat of the day, 1,300, and they perform. It is a well-run machine. She does a great job. Also, we started something, Wilson County Supervisor of the Year, named Kathy York, former principal at Rutland. Brought her to the ATC building, and she heads up our new teacher orientation and mentorship program. But also, I've assigned her some principals to mentor, new principals that come into the district or take jobs, and we're going to see the success for her. She's been tremendous the last couple of years in that role, and we're excited to announce she is our Supervisor of the Year. Construction project updates, Lagardo and New Central Pike, included that with you. It's in your packet. Moving right along. These snow days don't help, but we are moving right along with both of those projects. We do expect to have Lagardo open for next school year. So that is my report. I'll be glad to take any questions.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, Director Cooper. I'm Director Deletro. Report from the public. I got a text from him, so my bad. Report from Public Buildings Committee. Commissioner Weathers.
Mr. Chairman, the Public Buildings Committee met Thursday, February 6th. The minutes were in your packet, and you also approved those tonight. We met at 6:40 tonight in the meeting room.
5 minutes early.
Sorry?
5 minutes early?
That's correct.
Go ahead.
Those minutes will be in your next month's packet.
I got a motion. To hear a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Committee's report, Ag Center Management, Commissioner Scruggs. Animal Control, Commissioner Breeze.
Animal Control met on Tuesday, February 4th at 5 p.m. in the conference room. The minutes are in your packet. I move they be received and filed.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Audit, Commissioner Glover. Back Tax, Commissioner Franklin. Development Tourism, Commissioner Brown.
No report.
Ethics, Commissioner Dow.
Nope, no report.
Finance, Commissioner Costley.
No report.
Health and Recreation, Commissioner Smith.
No report.
Insurance, Commissioner McFarland.
No report.
Judicial, Commissioner Gentry.
Judicial Committee met January 30th. Each make a motion, they be received and filed.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Legislative Ad Hoc, Commissioner Costley.
No report.
Planning and Zoning, Commissioner McFarland.
No report.
Rules, Commissioner Keith.
No report.
Urban Top Facility Board, Commissioner Scruggs. Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Finance Director's Report, Mr. Aaron Maynard.
I need a ruling on if I'm allowed to say no report.
You could say that. I think they would like it.
Yes, I think they probably would too. Just real quick, the finance report was on your desk tonight. It wasn't done in time to get in your packet. We've received 61.64% of property tax revenue for the year. That is in comparison with the prior year, we had received just barely over 62%. So you're right in line with where you should be. You've actually collected about $1 million more, but you're just slightly behind in percentage. And that's all I've got, except to tell Mr. Hackett I look forward to working with him, and my office is ready to assist him any way we can.
Motion to approve the Secretary report.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Report from Budget Committee, Commissioner Marlowe.
Budget Committee met February 6th, upstairs conference room, and through your packet, I move they be received and filed. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution 25-2-2 to amend the budget and appropriation resolution to make an additional appropriation from general fund balance and from the reserve for WEMA donation into WEMA.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. Commissioner Dow? All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record.
24 yes, 1 abstaining.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 25-2-3 to reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget, and to amend the budget and appropriation resolution to make an appropriation into WEMA.
Motion. Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record.
25-0.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 25-2-4 to reflect revenues received but not included in the original budget, and to amend the budget and an appropriation resolution to make an appropriation into WEMA.
Motion. Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record.
25-0.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 25-2-5 to amend the budget and appropriation resolution by approving Wilson County Board of Education Budget Amendment 25-08.
Motion.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. Commissioner Key? All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record.
25-0.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 25-2-6 to amend the budget and appropriation resolution by approving Wilson County Board of Education Budget Amendment 25-09.
Motion.
Discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record.
25.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 25-2-7 to approve the purchase of an additional tract of real property located at 121 Rogers Avenue.
Second.
Any discussion? All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record.
23 yes, 2 no.
23 yes, 2 no. Resolution passes.
Resolution 25-2-8, requesting the 114th session of the Tennessee General Assembly to allocate 1/2 of the real estate transfer tax back to the county.
Any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? Please cast your vote. Commissioner Weathers, Commissioner Keith. All hearts and minds good with your vote? Please record.
25.
25, resolution passes. Any old business to come before this body tonight? Any new business? I need one more motion. We are adjourned.